Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and still Beyond Light Season of the Lost 30th Anniversary Edition Intel. We're counting down the weeks till the launch of Witch Queen, and I, like everybody else, is trying to farm up on all those materials and weapons that will be pertinent when Witch Queen actually launches. And with this week's Grandmaster Nightfall, we have once again the Devil's Lair strike. Not that difficult a strike, one of the older ones in rotation, actually one of my favorites in D1. And if you can complete this at Grandmaster while getting a platinum score, that means defeating all the champions except for one, you can get your hands on the Adept version of the Uzuma RR4 sniper rifle or the Plug 1 fusion rifle. I'm not sure how those will play into the meta next season, but the Uzuma has a pretty good perk roll, so I would definitely take advantage of any chance you have to get it. And like I said, this is a fairly fast strike, pretty easy, but as always, I'm going to be sharing with you all the glitches, tips, tricks, and cheeses that you can actually do in this particular strike to make your runs a whole lot easier if you are doing it in a group or if you're trying to attempt this as a solo player. So the first little cheese that I would suggest is don't waste any time on that first champion in the first zone that you load into. Just bypass all the enemies there. You can even bypass that champion because you can still get a platinum score while skipping one champion. The first real cheese or glitch doesn't really come into play until you get to the room where you have to hack the computer. It's fairly easy to do. Just have you or your teammates line up on this side of the room to the right as you enter behind this big tanker, and you won't actually get any enemy aggro back here, and no splash damage can actually hit you. I would suggest putting one person behind this tanker sort of to the immediate as you turn right around this little corner. You can know it by the two different enemy spawn rotations or spawn like areas right here. One underneath where you have Shank spawn, and on the other side where you'll get some Hive to spawn. Have somebody there, and then you can actually put somebody in the back all the way against the wall behind this tanker. And I actually find that that combination, if you are doing it in a group, really works the best. If you're doing it by yourself, I don't think you'll have to go back there, but it's good to know that this whole area is here if you're just trying to avoid some damage. Wait out the, I think it's 3 waves of ads, and you should be good to go. The next spot really doesn't come into play until you actually get to the tank. The tank is a difficult area, and I know that the go-to strategy for most people is just to run up. If you are in a group, just plant a bubble or a well of radiance right near one of the legs, and then just go to town on the leg with a sword, so you can actually just finish off the boss as quickly as possible, because you do get a certain amount of enemy despawn when you do that. It just takes care of a lot of trouble if you don't have the tank there. But if you're a little bit novice, maybe you're doing it by yourself, I would actually suggest going to the right side as quickly as you can as you enter this zone, because the enemies don't tend to aggro you up in that type right corner, and you can bottleneck all of them in this little gap here. There's also, because there's some impediments in the way, there's like this forklift thing, not all of the shots will actually hit you. And I found that the tank shot actually ends up hitting that forklift quite a bit, so long as you stay to the left. You could also throw up a stasis wall here, so just further bottlenecking the enemies. It's a good spot if you're doing it solo. I'm sure some people will debate that and just say go through this area as quickly as you can, but it's a strategy that has worked for me in the past. You can also, I think, once you get later in the fight, actually get further up and hide in this right corner. I've seen some people use that strategy as well, but I tend to just want to stay back here. The only thing you really have to worry about is if the tank does end up actually shooting that back wall, you don't want to be right near it. You want to always make sure that you're kind of a little bit further away, because you will get splash damage. But as you see here, it's pretty easy. If you just throw up some stasis, you can just shoot right through. Now, the final cheese or glitch is for the boss room. This is another kind of aggro glitch. If you stay to the left side in this room as you enter, one, you can bottleneck all the enemies. They will not aggro you into this room so long as you stay in this back right corner. So if you stay near the window, they will come up right to the window. But you have the added cover of being able to shoot through the window. Occasionally, you will get an ad that will come up the stairs if you stand by the window. So make sure that if you are doing this in a group, have somebody watching your six, because you never know when just some random dreg will just come running up the stairs and smack you in the back. But for the most part, you can just hold out in that room and you won't have too much trouble. And again, if you're doing it solo, if you get into the back corner that is behind that little box and there's like a shelf to your right, you don't get any aggro. All the enemies will just simply leave the room as they see you. So even if they're in the room with you, if you are doing it solo and you're taking damage, so long as you jump behind there, they'll just leave. So it's a great place to just sort of recoup if you're in between boss damage phases or something along those lines. As far as weapons to bring with you, I leave that up to you. I actually think a Galahorn might actually be really good in this, just because of the way that the boss is. You have to shoot at it, it tracks to the boss, and the Wolfpack rounds will do damage to the other servitors that are surrounding the boss. Another little thing that I did want to mention, I hadn't talked about this in the past, I might make a full video specifically on this, is there is sort of an unsunsetting glitch currently going around. And I don't know how this would necessarily work in a Grandmaster. It might not be the thing you want to try out, but certain weapons that have been sunset, like some of our old like pinnacle weapons, some of the things that we used to get from the Crucible and whatnot that were excellent PvE weapons, like the Recluse, for example. They were sunset seasons ago, so though they were maybe one of the best PvE weapons to date, maybe ever, obviously you can't use them because they're underpowered. But there is a way where you can actually get the Recluse to work again in the game without power dropping, so without losing any of your current power level. And all it revolves around doing is, and again, this might not be something you can actually do in a GM, but maybe if you're just doing lower level strikes, if you're trying to solo a lower level strike, you obviously have to be able to switch weapons to do this, so a GM might not be the best place, but it's something I did want to mention because it sounds interesting, so maybe somebody can figure out the best way to use it. If you have, say, a submachine gun equipped, and then you drop into the strike, you get a kill with it, and then you switch weapons to the Recluse will be at full power. It'll actually be the same power as that other submachine gun. It just has to be a matching subclass, and it has to be in the special weapons slot or the secondary slot. That, I don't know how it can best be used, but I've seen it used not just with the Recluse, but other weapons as well. So you might want to just check it out, play around with it. Kind of an added glitch to this video, not really necessarily pertinent to this specific strike. But that's going to be it for all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something helpful. Hopefully you can farm out some Uzuma RR4 sniper rifles or Plug 1 fusion rifles this week. Get yourself some easy Ascendant shards if that's just something you're going for, or maybe the Conqueror Seal if this is one of those strikes that you haven't finished yet this season. I'm sure most people are, if they're doing or going for the Conqueror Seal, have finished it at this point because it has been an incredibly long season. Of course, counting down the weeks to Witch Queen, we'll be doing some more recaps on things that you can take advantage of as far as farms and glitches to get yourself more loot in preparation for Witch Queen. It's going to be quite the expansion, really is. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Destiny 2 content. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. And as always, if you've watched this far, you can leave a hashtag Beyond Light or a hashtag Witch Queen or Season of the Lost or 30th Anniversary Edition in the comments section down below. Any of those things I just mentioned will also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. The next one is at 56,000 subscribers. All you have to do to be entered into that giveaway is any of those things I just mentioned. And remember, if you haven't done any of the secret hashtags at the end of previous videos, I do these on every video, and they stack between all videos. So if you haven't done that on a previous piece of content, you can always go back and do it again. And as always, I am Wilhelm Scream. Of course, we will see you next time. Little.